Good morning. Buenos dias.
Morning. Buenos dias.
And welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Antonio. My name is Charice Hoptowit, and I am the youth advisor here at this church. It is my joy and privilege to work with children of all ages. However, my main focus here is high school. Our weekly worship is where we connect, share information, and inspiration. Let us acknowledge this geographical place where we are currently located. Yawanan, the home and traditional lands of the Coquitlam people, the original and indigenous stewards of this land to which we all belong, now called San Antonio, Bexar County, and Texas. Let us also bear in mind that many indigenous peoples have not been recognized by our federal government, even as they continue to live among us as vital contributors to and of our communities. Indeed, we speak these truths as one small step towards becoming the diverse and multicultural community and communities we all aspire to be. At our church, we strive to enact a universal love that binds us in mutual care and affection, especially in our work for justice for all and for our planet. Our faith is all-inclusive, and that means all. If you are new to us or visiting for the first time today, we welcome you to fill out our visitor's card. We'd like to get to know you and follow up with you. Wherever you are on your life's journey, we hope you will find your place with us.
Thank you, Charice. And thank you to our wonderful ballerinas. I'm a believer in embodied spirituality, and it's really wonderful to see us gathering together in physical proximity to each other. The question we are engaging together in today's service is how UUs have influenced the December holidays, and specifically we'll learn a lot about how we influenced Christmas. How do we celebrate them today? And how may we discover our own meaning for these holidays now in the 21st century? Speaking of the holidays, we are going to have a very special one on Christmas Eve, just a few more days away. We'll be gathering in here for a wonderful service of song and story and candle lighting. And then afterwards, we'll go to the fellowship hall for a gala reception that involves eggnog and punch and cookies. So I want to encourage all of you who plan to come, and by the way, we've always had about 300 people, so we're going to be preparing 300 candles to be able to light when we dim the lights and sing Silent Night and have some of those warm, fuzzy feelings on Christmas Eve. But I want to encourage everyone who can to make cookies, bring cookies. It's about cookies. So thank you for planning ahead and to be here. You know, we've announced, and this was really brought to my attention as minister by the parents who have so many wonderful children, that we wanted to have the service start at 5. So instead of the usual like 6, 6:30, 7, 5 o'clock. And if you can, get here a little bit early. It'd be wonderful to see this place filled at 5 minutes till 5, because we've got some great music that's going to start right around then. And now it's time to welcome each other and exchange a greeting of peace. So please say hello to someone you know and meet someone you don't know. We love each other and being together. I'd like to invite Wally Silva and Sarah Frey to come forward to light the candles for us today, our chalice.
Of patience and one to dispel the darkness. This week, we pledge to work for that most rare of things, peace on earth. In this holiday season, may we find peace inside ourselves. May we be peace for those around us. And may we renew our commitment to bring peace with justice to our community and the world. May we be peace.
Thank you, Wally, and thank you, Sarah. Indeed, may we be peace. Samantha, are you ready to come and help us with our... Look at you in your winter clothes. Hey.
We are called as Unitarian Universalists to build a beloved community where all are welcome as blessings. May we strive to share grace and forgiveness with ourselves and each other in the hope of becoming whole and reconciled. Each week we affirm this promise to live and behave as a community in covenant. We know that this aim takes work, and so we are committed to live and behave as a community in covenant. Let's recite our covenant that articulates our promises and binds us together in a community. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other.
As we celebrate...
Is that me? As we celebrate the most joyful event in the church year, it's hard to believe that Christmas has not always been observed. In fact, for the first 200 years of the North American church's existence, it was illegal to celebrate Christmas in the colonies of Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and many others. By the early 1800s, various religions were beginning to observe Christmas. Many Unitarians and Universalists have contributed to our way of celebrating at this time of year, and let's now meet some of those who have helped shape this holiday season.
The Reverend Charles Follin, a refugee from Germany, was the Unitarian minister in East Lexington, Massachusetts, in the early part of the 19th century. He missed the color and excitement of Christmas as it was celebrated in his native land. One day, as Reverend Follin was strolling down a lane surrounded by a pine forest, his face lit up. He knew exactly what was missing. When he returned home, he spoke to the family's cook and asked her to be very careful opening the eggs she used for cooking.
Now break the eggs evenly and rinse them and save them for me, please.
Next, he purchased many candies, small candle holders, bonbons, mints, barley sugar, bright-colored paper, and small dolls and figures. Then he spent hours preparing his special surprise.
The
He
children
painted
will
the
be
egg
so
cups
excited.
gold.
Sorry.
He tied strings to them and the little dolls and put candles into holders.
And the children will be so excited.
Then, the day before Christmas, the Reverend Follin took a shovel and a tub and walked into the pine forest. He carefully dug up a pine tree. He put the tree in the tub, surrounded the base with moss, and took it home. While no one was looking, he brought it into the front room and closed the doors. All the next day, he prepared the tree. That evening, Reverend Folan and Mrs. Folan gathered their children outside the parlor door.
Merry Christmas!
The children stared with wide eyes. Their mouths became round O's, and they squealed with glee. Every year after that, Reverend and Mrs. Folan prepared a tree for their family and their guests. Other families started to decorate trees too. Soon it became a holiday tradition. Now please stand in body or spirit as we sing O Christmas Tree. The words may be found in your order of service.
It's time to share our joys and sorrows. We invite all to enter into their hearts and minds in a very intentional way, remembering that ours is a welcoming community that connects us, a spiritual community that enlivens us, a sharing community where our joys are amplified, and a caring community which hears our sorrows and holds us in compassion. May we listen more deeply and see each other more clearly and grow closer to each other each time we gather together. And as a way to connect our community today, you're invited to mindfully come forward down the side aisles and light a candle, and return up the center aisle as suits your path to your seat. And as you do so, please keep in mind that social distancing not only affords comfort to others, but saves lives. Now let's savor this moment of remembrance while Jaime plays our meditation music, seasonally, I understand. In our book of joys and sorrows that is always in the foyer before the service, some of you have written this from a beloved member. Grateful to my sister for sharing her time and support with me during this time after our father's passing. And another, sorrow for all those who are ill and suffering at this holiday time, especially for our dear brother, the Reverend Chuck Freeman. I invite us all now to take a deep cleansing breath. Close your eyes if you wish and go inside as we think of all the joys and sorrows, those expressed, those held in the silence of our hearts. May we feel empathy and compassion. And may you, this community, offer caring, a space of deep kindness, loving, and just action. Amen. Well, we will continue our presentation of our holiday pageant. In 1849, the Reverend Edmund Sears wrote a Christmas carol for a friend in Quincy, Massachusetts. A fellow Unitarian minister was looking for an appropriate song for a Sunday school Christmas celebration, and the result was, "It Came Upon a Midnight Clear." Did you know that was written by a Unitarian minister? When Sears wrote that carol, war drums were beating loudly throughout the world, and although Sears' ministry never carried him any further away than Wayland, Weston, and Lancaster in Massachusetts, his concern was for the revolutions in Europe, the war in Mexico, and slavery in the southern United States. And these are obvious in the third verse of this carol that we will sing. Sears was one of the first to bring the thought of hope and peace into the theme of Christmas. So I invite us all now to please rise in body or spirit and turn to number 244 in our gray hymnal, and let's join together in singing, "It Came Upon a Midnight Clear."
To
Thank you, and please be seated.
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow is best remembered as a truly American poet. Many of us learned his poems that started with,
"Listen, my children, and shall hear of the midnight ride of Poet Rio,
or
under the spreading chestnut tree."
Longfellow's beliefs as a liberal Christian led him to the Unitarian Church in the late 1820s. When he wrote, "I heard the bells on Christmas Day," our country was in the middle of a civil war. In it, he expressed his dream of seeing America at peace.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and loud and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to all. But in despair I bowed my head, there is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to all. Then pealed the bells, oh loud and deep, God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to all.
It's time for our invitation to generosity. Our church has a larger purpose to support all of us in becoming more generous in the giving of our time, talent, and treasure, all done in an atmosphere of trust. May we succeed in fulfilling our goals, especially in our service to each other and to our wider community. And for those of you viewing online, we invite you to make a contribution on the link shown on the chat stream. And you may also mail a check into our office made out to First UU. Those of us here in the sanctuary may contribute in the baskets being now passed by our ushers while we enjoy the music of Robbie Vance, accompanied by Jaime.
Children sleeping, snow is softly falling, dreams are calling, like bells in the distance. We were dreamers not so long ago, but one by one we all had to grow up. When it seems the magic slipped away, we find it all again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying. Hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste. There's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside. Give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. Trains move quickly to their journey's end. Destinations are where we begin again. Ships go sailing far across the sea, trusting starlight to get where they need to be. When it seems that we have lost our way, we find ourselves again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying. Hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste. There's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. If you just believe. If you just believe. Just believe.
Send some of your energy over here to our ushers who are holding the baskets with your gifts. May our blessings be multiplied with our intentions and by our sharing of them. Amen.
One of the most beloved pieces of Christmas literature was written in 1843 by an English Unitarian, Charles Dickens. Dickens had become a Unitarian because he felt it was the only religious movement which made the quality of life a central concern. A Christmas Carol may be seen as a statement of Dickens' Unitarian faith and his belief in the value of love and compassion. This is the true Unitarian and Universalist message about the spirit of Christmas.
Ebenezer Scrooge, a miser, owned a successful London clearinghouse back in the 19th century. He was so stingy that during the coldest winter months, only a tiny fire was lit in his dreary office. Bob Cratchit, his clerk, tried to keep warm with an even smaller fire. All Scrooge thought of Christmas was,
"Bah, humbug. You'll want all day tomorrow, I suppose?"
If it's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair. If I was to cut your pay for it, you'd think I was a real jerk. I'll be bound.
It's only once a year, sir.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose you must have the whole day. Be here earlier next morning.
went home to his lonely rooms that were once the home of his partner, business partner, Jacob Marley, now dead for 7 years. And Scrooge went to bed. Out of nowhere, bells began ringing in the house, accompanied by the sound of heavy chains clanging, clanging, clanging. The bedroom door opened, and in walked in none other than the ghost of Jacob Marley.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits. Without their visits, you have no hope of escaping an evil fate.
Yet somehow Scrooge managed to fall asleep that night, but was soon awakened.
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
This ghost of Christmas past took the helpless Scrooge back to his earlier years. Scrooge saw himself as a young lad, abandoned by friends and left to his books. He saw his sister, whom he loved, and her son, whom Scrooge had neglected. Next, Scrooge witnessed the days of his apprenticeship. And finally, a former girlfriend who left him because he loved money more than he loved her. The ghost returned Scrooge to his bedroom, and Scrooge fell asleep again.
I am the ghost of Christmas present.
Soon, this ghost of Christmas present gave Scrooge a tour of London streets on Christmas morning. They visited the Cratchit household, where Bob played with his frail, ill child, Tiny Tim. Though they had little food, the Cratchits treated their meal as if it were a banquet. The clock struck 12, and Scrooge was back in his room.
I am the ghost of Christmas future.
The ghost of Christmas future showed Scrooge several scavengers who were selling the possessions of a dead person. They revisited the Cratchits, only to learn that Tiny Tim was very, very ill. When Scrooge saw his business abandoned and then saw his own grave, he realized that the body he had seen was his own, left alone, with no one to mourn him.
Spirit, hear me. I am not the man I was. Assure me that I'm yet may change these shadows you have shown me by an altered life.
When he awoke in the morning, Scrooge ran into the street, realizing it was Christmas Day and that he was still very much alive. He sent a turkey to the Cratchit family anonymously and donated money to the poor. Never again did Scrooge act the part of a miser, but rather, Scrooge was a model of love and good character. Why, he raised Cratchit's salary and became kind of a godfather to Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim said,
God bless us, everyone.
We love this story, and it speaks to many of us. The messages of peace, hope, joy, and love expressed by our Unitarian and Universalist forebears. And it has much to say to us today, causing us to ask, what would Christmas be without Unitarian Universalists? And now please stand in body or spirit for hymn 248, We Believe in Christmas.
Thank you, and please be seated. The day after Christmas, another important winter holiday begins, Kwanzaa. How many of you know anything about Kwanzaa? That's a lot of hands. Very good. It's based on the harvest festival traditions from various parts of Africa. Kwanzaa is an annual celebration of black values and black self-determination. The celebration honors African heritage in African American culture, culminating in a feast and of gift giving. Kwanzaa has 7 core principles and was created by Maulana Karenga.
The involvement of Black Unitarian Universalists in the development and spread of Kwanzaa is a lot more complicated than an act of cutting down a tree and bringing it into a house, or writing a single poem, or even a novella. But as Dr. Mtangulisi Sanyika, former president and an instrumental Black leader in the UU faith in the 1960s, tells us, Black Unitarian Universalists were among the early and first practitioners of Kwanzaa, and they helped to educate people all across the country about this new Black institution.
The Unitarian Universalist Black Affairs Council and Black Unitarian Universalists were among the first people who supported Kwanzaa when it was just being developed, and they contributed to the expansion, development, and relevance of the Kwanzaa system and its 7 principles, which Dr. Sanyika says certainly has been influenced by UU aspirations and practice.
These 20th century Black UUs saw the 7 principles and Kwanzaa as a way to articulate their own right to self-determination in their personal lives, in society, in the Unitarian Universalist Association, and in their UU churches.
In honor of the Kwanzaa candles, please rise in body or spirit to sing number 362, Rise Up, O Flame. We'll sing it 3 times. Thank you. Next time we'll sing it 10 times, and maybe we'll get it. Today's benediction will be said by our very own David Rodriguez.
Now the work of Christmas begins. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the people, to make music in the heart. Go in peace.